Och lägg dig. Hello again and welcome. Today I'm here with another story. A story about my first own dog. In 2001 I decided it was time for us to get another dog, which would be my first own dog. Fortunately, the neighbors, a few houses over, had a kennel where they bred two different kinds of breeds. One was Lhasa and one was Tibetan Spaniel, or however to pronounce it in English. I apologize if it's totally wrong. And they had a male, a few years old, that they said I could borrow over the summer to see if I was fit to have my own dog. So I would go and visit them and visit this dog over the course of a few weeks' time. This was probably like in February 2001 that I contacted them the first time. The 14th of March 2001, they had an unexpected litter of puppies. They did not know that one of the females were in heat at some point and the wrong male was available, so to speak. So that litter was mixed bred, which was not intended in any way. And I fell in love. It was a small litter, only 2 puppies. Unfortunately, one of them died. But the surviving puppy was so cute, so adorable. And I think it was when the puppies were like 2 weeks old, I brought my mother to go and visit the puppies at the neighbors. Well, the puppy. And the puppy then crawled up into my lap. It was so tiny, but it struggled really hard and crawled up in my lap and fell asleep. And that's when I decided that would be my puppy. And I got my mother to agree with me. I had saved up everything I could, all the birthday money and everything else that I could, and gotten a small amount of money so I could buy the puppy of my own money. So it would be like, in all senses, could be mine for a 12-year-old. It was my little dog. As a thank you to my mother for letting me do this, I let her name her. So her name was Lufsan, which is like a version of, you know, the movie cartoon Lady and the Tramp. Like in our version, it's Lady or Lufsan. But since she was female, it would be Lufsan. Me wanting to do everything correctly, I went all the classes you could go with her, like puppy class, continuing class, and obedience classes. But she was not quite the... Like, she was too smart. She was very much too smart to do what I say, when she knew that she could get me to give her the treats anyway without having to do what I said and then choosing when to listen or to not, because she understood exactly what I wanted. And she just chose not to do it if it suited her better. A few years goes by, and I'm now in high school. I'm attending a boarding school, so she stayed with my mother, which was fine. First year of high school, I went home every weekend, so I got to see her every weekend. Second year of high school and third year of high school, we got to move to our own apartments close to the school. So if my classes suited it, that I didn't have too long days, I would have her during the weeks also. And I completely forgot to do my makeup. In high school, I met a new friend that was in the same class as I did, which also had dogs to half of us hobbies, and she was really into dog showing and obedience and tracking and a lot of different stuff, which I've only tried obedience in the past. And of course, me also having a dog, we started doing some training together, and it was her that made me basically aware that I am never gonna be able to get my little Lufsan to do what I want because she's too smart. Which I could have figured out on my own if I had half of a brain. After high school, I moved to an own apartment in the town, close to the place where I grew up, the town closest to the village I came from. At that point, Lufsan was still living with my mother, but my mother had then moved because she went personally bankrupt and had to sell the house and everything, so she moved into the farm that my stepfather had. And at that point, his mother was still alive, so she lived there together with them. I, of course, wanted my dog to be with me, which they opposed, saying like she's been so long with them, so she should stay with them. Well, it's like I've had her for my entire life, almost. Well, her entire life, almost. It's just at certain points I wasn't able to care for her. If I had too much school or so. But the job I had then at that point made it possible for me to have enough time to have my little Lufsan with me. So I told them I was gonna come and get them, and they were not happy. Really not happy. They even got my brother to call me and basically, yeah, not yell at me, but really try to talk me out of it. But I was dead set on, of course, taking my dog back. And I had her for like 3 days only. She got separation anxiety for some reason. I don't understand. Since she was living with me in the past in apartment when I was in high school, and that was no problem. But now, even though I was only gone for 3 to 4 hours a day for work, she was just constantly whining. And my neighbors complained, and of course, couldn't have it like that. So I let them take my little Lufsan back. Which was the best option. Not what I preferred, but it was the best option. I knew she was taken well care of there with them, even though I wasn't really able to see her. Oh my god, I turned grey. Where was I? Oh yeah, Lufsan was keeping the neighbors awake at night. So unfortunately she had to move back to my mother and stepfather, and his mother, which they were of course happy about. Not me as much, which meant I wouldn't be able to see her, since I had extremely bad relation with my mother and stepfather. That was last time when I left her at my brother, and then they picked her up from my brother, and that was the last time ever I saw her. I knew she would be treated well and be loved and everything, so I didn't know it would be the last time I saw her. But that's what happened. Since she was a small mixed breed, they're quite known to live quite long. So when this happened, she was 9 years old, and I knew of others that had lived to be 18, so I was expecting like maybe 15, 16 she would live, at least. But life doesn't really turn out that way. I got a text 1 year later from my mother telling me that she was dead. I had no clue that she was sick, or that they were taking her to the vets, or anything. I wasn't told anything. I was not given a chance to say goodbye. I just got a text where they said that she was gone. Yeah. They had taken her to the vet because she had a very bloated abdomen. She said that she hadn't had any problems with pain or eating or anything, but since she had a very bloated abdomen, they wanted to take her to the vet to check it out. And the vet found a huge tumor in her abdomen and said there was nothing to do, so they just euthanized her on the spot. And after that was when my mother texted me. Yeah. So Lufsan became only 10 years old. And She had a really big personality. Even though she was a small dog, I guess a lot of small dogs are like that. They may compensate for their size in their personality instead. We used to say, like, she's not a dog, she's a tiger. Because she's fierce and she's very, well, believes that she's huge. She would not be scared of anything. And if she didn't like something, she really made it known that she didn't like that thing. Like if it was cold, she would not go outside. Or if you forced her, she would jump on 3 legs like she was limping. Even though there was nothing wrong with her, she was just cold. Her little paws were cold. Or if she was too tired to go outside in the morning, she just wouldn't. She would just hold it. It's like getting up before 10 a.m. I don't think so. Definitely not today. Maybe some other day, but definitely not today. Which me being a teenager suited perfectly. Got a little bit harder and more difficult when I was in high school though. But of course, even though she refused, I could just pick her up and take her out anyway. But not everyone was allowed to pick her up. Only people she respected was allowed to pick her up. If someone tried to pick her up that she didn't respect or didn't know, she would become really, really angry. Really, really angry. She would snap at them. The only time I saw her being afraid of another dog was when we met a Irish wolf dog, and that was when she was 1 year old. The wolf dog bent down to sniff and greet her, and the wolf dog's like snout was the same size as entire her. That's the only time she backed down. Otherwise, whatever dog it was, she would try to tell them that they better know their place because she is the queen of the castle here. She is the queen of everything. One time I had my friend visiting with her dogs, and she had a very experienced male had a lot of experience of living in packs. So when little Lufsan tried to tell him, like, oh no, I'm the queen here, you better watch out, he just put his head up and just ignored her, and that made her so much more angrier. So she was just trying to like snap at his snout, but she was so tiny and he was quite a bit taller, she just couldn't reach. So after failing a few times, she just decided, okay, it's not worth the effort, but I'm still the queen here, and just walked away. She got to see Bella though. The one I have right here. Bella was just a puppy at that time. But they got to meet, and can't say they were friends, but they tolerated each other. Well, Bella just thought life was great, and little Lufsan just thought it's like, oh, fine. I'll accept her being here, since she was always the only dog we had. She wasn't accustomed sharing my affection with anyone else. But it worked. The little time I had them both. Went for small adventures together. A few walks down to the water. Oh, I remember her first time going to the beach with me. I brought her when she was just a puppy to the beach. And she was too small and didn't know what a lake or river or whatever was and how it worked. So she just ran straight out and almost drowned. After that she never liked water. Well, she didn't in the beginning, but definitely not after that. I had to scoop her up. And yeah, she was not happy. A very misgruntled puppy. She was old already when she was a puppy. We used to joke and say that she was born as a old lady, very unhappy with things, how things were and weren't the way she wanted it to be. Like the best things she knew in life was just to lay in her crib. Sometimes somebody petting her. Maybe on the stomach, preferably not. Maybe if she wants to. Possibly not. Like a cat. Yeah, she was a lot like a cat. Like, if she decided she didn't want to be somewhere, she would just leave. Like, we would usually take her to the stables with us. But if she had enough of being the stables, she just walked home. Even if we went there like with car, she had enough, she just walked home. I used to bring her to when I was visiting my second cousin, which was my childhood best friend. She lived like 500 meters from where I grew up. I used to bring her with me when I was there visiting. And when she had enough, she just walked home. And she was really smart, even though it was totally unsafe and everything, her walking on herself on her own. She would stay at the edge of the road, always. And she would just sneak off. You would never notice until she was already gone that she had left. I remember us doing a small video of us playing some ball game. And we didn't notice while we were doing the video, but when we played back, we just saw little Lufsan just leaving in the video. And then later on in the video, she just came back. So, it's outside on the road. She just left. So what kind of lip for this look? Still feels like I should try to muddy this out more. Is that better? No. Fine, I'll look like this. Is it black? It's time for black. Might be. Okay. I think that's today's makeup look. But I still need something prettier on me. And I'm back. Thank you everybody's been watching and listening to today's story about my first dog, little Lufsan. If you liked, please hit that like button below. If you want to hear more stories, then please follow me here on YouTube. I am also on Twitch with the same username as I got here on YouTube. I'll link it down below. Thank you for watching. Be safe and be kind. Until next time. Bye bye.